What's up, y'all? It's your boy Nick Clark here with another Breaking Bad boxing preview and prediction. This week, we are going to cover the 130-pound clash between Raymond the Savage Ford and Abraham Supernova. Raymond Ford, 17-1, 8 of those wins coming by way of knockout, 26 years old, southpaw fighting out of New Jersey. Abraham Nova, 23 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 17 of those wins coming by way of knockout, 31 years old, orthodox fighter, fighting out of New York, but he is by way of Puerto Rico himself. I love Abraham Nova, man. I love the mascot. I love, just kind of the gimmick itself. And he's always in fun and entertaining fights. And Raymond Ford's actually a fighter that I'm pretty high on, and I think only has room to grow, especially that I think he's going to settle far better at the 130-pound division. Raymond Ford's someone that's fought in as low as 122 pounds. And he's, he fought at 126 competitively, had a world title at 126 after his fight of the year contender versus Kolmatov. But it's finally time for him to move up. He's moved up here over the last few fights, and I think he's settled really well. And we're going to kind of get into the X's and O's of it and why I think this is a great matchup. And quite frankly, why I really like Raymond Ford at 130. But Abraham Nova is someone that always brings it and someone that I think has an interesting record to break down, quite frankly, here. Because on first watch against O'Shaquie Foster, I actually thought he won that fight. Rewatching it now for the tape, I actually thought he lost 8-4 with the knockdown included. Versus Andreas Cortez, where he had a unanimous decision loss, I clearly thought he beat Andreas Cortez. Andreas Cortez missed weight and just did not look good over that 10-round bout. And then his Humberto Galindo fight, which you're going to see that I've watched as well, that was a draw. And honestly, I thought Galindo did enough to edge that fight too. So interesting record. Could have wins skewed one way, could have losses skewed another way, but regardless, always entertaining and always worth the scrap. So as always, got my handy-dandy notebook. Let's get into the X's and O's. Apologies as always. And don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and remember, if you don't agree with me, please let me know in the comments. I love that a lot of people do that. I'm always for the banter back and forth. And as we know, I'm always going to comment back. So let's do it, y'all. Going over Raymond Ford's tape here, let's go over the Kolmatov fight, which was a southpaw versus southpaw matchup, which is going to make a little bit difference. This is an orthodox versus southpaw matchup between Ford and Nova. So remember, Kolmatov is a southpaw himself, so the metrics are a little bit different. Raymond Ford fights behind a disciplined jab, has a solid mix of an overhand and a straight left too as well. Really good high-low puncher. He fakes high, punches low, fakes low, punches high, mixes it up, puts it in a dishwasher cycle. Has a modified Philly Shelley fights behind and has a super solid check hook. He has a lot of lazy tendencies in this fight specifically. Left his jab hanging out there, allowed his shoulders to fall over his base. He was holding his feet far too long, and he just had a bunch of lapses where he seemed to be checked out. He got hurt in round 3 where he really threw a right to the body, and he held it lazily there and didn't move his feet and wasn't reactive with his lead hand whatsoever, which got him hurt versus Kolmatov. He showed a lot of chin, a lot of grit, and a lot of heart in this fight. Super, super gritty when it comes to Raymond Ford. He doesn't close his fist or turn over his punches when it came to this fight, which I found really interesting. He was continuously punching the body, had a super sneaky uppercut, had zero quit to him, and he was a super gamer. He seemed calm in the fire at almost all times. Never once did he seem panic. His cardio, he showed really good cardio here. Fought at all levels on the inside, the mid-range, and the long range. What he does best, especially what he saw in this fight, was throwing a short uppercut, sneaky uppercut, turning angles, and having a long jab while fighting forward on the pressure. He was down on all cards, and quite frankly, he was down on my card too as well with Kolmatov. I had him down 7-4 going into the 12th round. And in the 12th round, walked forward pressure, fought behind a long jab, turned Kolmatov, hit him with a sneaky uppercut that was almost like a shovel hook, and finished the job. Hell of a fight. He showed nothing but grit, heart, cardio, and he didn't necessarily look great on the scales for this fight too as well. So I think that was something important to say. The Nick Fall fight. This is one of my favorite fights to go back and rewatch. And for anyone curious how I scored this fight, I actually scored it 7-5 for Nick Ball. Could have been 8-4 with a swing round 2 as well. Round 1 I had for Ford. Rounds 2 through 6 I had all for Nick Ball. Round 7, 8 I had for Ford. Rounds 9, which was a swing round, I slightly gave to Nick Ball. Rounds 10 I gave for Ford, rounds 11 for Ball, and rounds 12 for Ford. So sorry to ramble there. I just wanted to give my quick scoring there. Let me know if you disagree. It seems to be a very unpopular opinion on Twitter. By the way, Raymond Ford had one of the best fight kits I've seen in this fight. His fight kit was fucking sick, repping Camden on the shorts. Solid jab. Really good body puncher, man. He sharpened up his feet in this fight. He really didn't let his shoulders fall over his feet whatsoever, so I'd love to see fight over fight improvement, especially versus that Kolmatov fight. He brought his shots back well, so he didn't have as many defensive lapses here. He definitely allowed himself to get caught over the ropes, which is why he lost so many rounds versus 2 through 6, because he was getting banged out against the ropes by Nick Ball. And Nick Ball was putting a lot of optics out there. That's a big word for Raymond Ford, optics. He doesn't put a lot of great optics out there for some of these fights. He had some pull and counter to his game to him, and he also had some catch and shoot to his game. I thought he did both really well, but I thought he did the catch and shoot in this game specifically well. He was turning Nick Ball in this fight, quite frankly, quite a bit, especially in the later rounds. He thought it seemed to be emotional. Nick Ball kind of dragged him into that emotional state where they were both egging each other on for a fight, fighting dirty, holding each other's arms, underhooking for too long, pushing each other, shoving each other. I really enjoyed this fight. It was super grimy. He had great shot selection in this fight, really precise with his punches. Round 7, he was just started going downhill and catching, man. He was just catching Nick Ball just on everything he wanted to go. The minute that he seemed like he started to lose, he caught him with a sweeping left hook, busted Nick Ball's nose for the fight, man, and it just seemed to kind of turn the corner for him. And from that moment, you saw his confidence glow. He had really good stop and start ability. His feet were really competent, but he did have moments of loading up on hooks and loading up on uppercuts. Grit, cardio, and heart, man. Grit, cardio, and heart. Like I said, even with this loss, I felt like Raymond Ford's stock went up because he looked really good in the later rounds. He seemed to fight. I don't want to say a disciplined fight because he did get overly emotional at times here, but when he was fighting disciplined while turning Nick Ball, he looked absolutely incredible, man. He looked like a world champion out there, which of course he was at one point. So Ford versus Gonzalez, man. Orlando Gonzalez was outmatched from the jump, man. I don't really care what the record necessarily says. Orlando Gonzalez should have never been in there with Raymond Ford. He was pawing with the front hand, long, stiff jab. His right hook was insane this fight. His right hand was absolutely insane. Dropped him in the right hand in the second round. Hurt him in the 7th round with a second hand. He was pulling out with his chin high in a straight line, which was really one of the only negatives I had to say about this fight. Besides this fight, he kept the ring control, incredibly held the real estate. And he also, again, the right hand couldn't miss. Dropped him with the right hand in round 8 too as well. He did have his back held against the ropes that we saw a few times against Nick Ball too as well against Gonzalez, but not too many negatives besides that. He had issues cutting off the ring in the 9th and 10th round when he was trying to finish Gonzalez, and really Gonzalez was running. And one thing I do know about Raymond Ford is he doesn't like to be pressured. He may not break under the pressure and he doesn't seem to be bothered, but you can definitely tell he holds his feet too long when someone like Gonzalez or Nick Ball were pressuring him. Quite frankly, this fight was a masterclass. I'm surprised it wasn't stopped when Gonzalez was turning his backs to the rope. So yeah, the ref definitely let it go longer, and I thought Raymond Ford absolutely could have got a knockout in his first fight at 130. Ford versus Matias. Ford, in my opinion, showed the biggest jumps and jumps and improvement in all of his fights over fights in this one. He set up his punches extremely well. He was jab and feinting at a high level. Jab, level feint. Jab, straight left to the body, double jab feint, and then he rocked him within the first 30 seconds with a straight left that put him into the back against the ropes for Matias. He was moving his head off the line, which we didn't really see in terms of a lot of his other fights. So sorry, got to turn off this computer. His straight left was money in this fight here. So in his last fight, his right hook and his right hand was money. In this fight with Matias, his left hand was the money. Throwing punches and bunches. His feet looked S tier in this fight. He was completely disciplined. Didn't get out of the game plan, not once. Didn't look emotional versus Matias, not once. He kept his feet and he kept his shape all 10 rounds. And quite frankly, looked like he could have boxed another 10 rounds. So with the rambling on Raymond Ford, his positives: wicked jab, solid feet, grittiness, tough, heart, incredible cardio, timing, and precision. He has an underutilized arsenal. What I mean by that, everything that he has is almost sneaky. His uppercut sneaky, his shovel hook sneaky, his check hook is sneaky. His straight left is sneaky, even though if you watch the Matias fight, you know it's really not sneaky. It's solid as shit. He's well-schooled. He listens to his coaches, and I love that. His negatives: he has defensive lapses where he'll hold his feet a little bit too long, get his backs caught against the ropes. He definitely holds his jab out there for a little bit long, but he definitely improves fight over fight. He can be too negative at times, and that is one thing. He definitely has too many lapses and moments where he's not fighting for the positive sakes, for the offensive balance. He's really just fighting to be safe because he thinks that he's winning when, quite frankly, the judges could be seeing it differently. He could have beaten Nick Ball if he wasn't so negative in that fight. And he is a hittable fighter. He has been hit. We see it versus Nick Ball. We see it versus Kolmatov, and we even saw it in few moments versus Matias. So he can definitely be hit. Mix aspect: I think he has mixed gears. He can go through gears at a good level when he needs to, see the Komatov for again the knockout. But then again, he has those moments of lulls where it kind of makes me think maybe he's stuck in one gear in neutral. All right, y'all. Now that I got that one done, let's talk about Abraham Nova versus Cortez, where Abraham Nova, I don't like to use the term rob, but I definitely thought he won this fight. Good balance, great left to the body. He can definitely get caught in exchanges, and he's susceptible to the uppercut on the inside. He's willing to move around the ring, whether that's offensively or defensively. He can fight on the back foot, and he can fight on the front foot. He has a good right hand, especially when he throws it in a long stride. He can punch from different levels, bending his knees, cutting from different angles, punching up high. I really like his levels punching specifically. He turned it up as the fight went on. He is a slow starter, but the minute he starts turning it up, he really starts to go through he can go through the gears, which I appreciate about Abraham Nova. Even though necessarily when he goes through the gears, he revs it up to 4 and 5 and keeps it there. He doesn't necessarily drop it. He has a great turn on his uppercut too as well. He will definitely turn the punch when he throws an uppercut. He has a clubbing right hand, but he can get banged away as the fight goes along. As the fight goes along, it seems that he slows his feet and that he allows people to bang away at his body and just bang away at him in general. Again, I scored this fight 7-3 for Nova, 6-4 depending on a swing round, but I thought Nova won this pretty clearly. Nova versus Galindo. Galindo is a hard puncher, man, and he's been in there with a lot of good guys, but quite frankly, this fight was way too close to consider Nova maybe elite and/or world level. He spent the whole first round on the back foot. He got smoked with the right hand on the back foot that, quite frankly, I'm surprised didn't drop him. He winged shots, but he was good at going first and he was good at going third in this fight here. He was susceptible to the changeup punch. So what I mean by the changeup punch is when a fighter is so used to throwing the right, straight down the pipe, boom, I'm going to hit you with a hook and I'm going to throw that changeup and that curveball. He builds in this fight. He had really solid range control, and I felt his range control showed far better levels than it did against the Cortez fight where he was just willing to fight on the inside. He seems to possess good fight IQ, and him boxing on the back foot, he looked really sharp in this fight on the back foot, but the issue was he was too willing to box on the back foot. So his fight against, I didn't even get the guy's name, Miraz. He's a 65, 72-2 fighter. If you guys want to find this fight, look up Fight Night at Fenway on YouTube and then scroll to about 4 hours and 18 minutes in and you'll find this. He was literally fighting someone's Theo who had nothing for him. He got dropped like 4 times, kept falling over his own feet. I really couldn't take away much from this is that the fact that he finished a guy that he should have finished. Versus Foster. Now let's talk about Foster. I love this fight. What a good fight. He showed a great first step, really good early volume and angles. And over the first 5 rounds, he was really touching up Foster behind a good jab, good volume, and his right is clubbing, really solid. Has a really sneaky left to the body. This fight is where you question his cardio. He really slowed down hard in this fight. He got dropped in the 12th round, more so to him being lazy while walking straight into a check hook from Foster. He lost his shape over the 10th, over the 11th, over the 12th. He just really seemed to lose his shape in this fight. And I felt like fight over fight since this fight, his cardio has definitely improved. So I don't hold it too far away for the cardio, but it is definitely something to look into for his last 12-round fight that we saw. And one thing to note, he is the older fighter here, 31 years old, maybe not too old, but definitely has been in a lot of bricks and bones kind of wars with Abraham Nova. And on top of that, he's taking this fight on shorter notice. Not short notice completely. He just came off a fight, like I said, where he crushed someone's Theos just a few weeks ago. He's taking this fight where he's jumping right back into a camp against, a tricky and a solid boxer in a Raymond Ford. So the positives and negatives of Mr. Abraham Nova. Mr. Abraham Supernova can box going forward or he can box going backwards. His positives, he has a super right clubbing right hand. He can overturn on his uppercuts. He's a bread and butter fighter. Super solid, super simple fundamentals, and that is not a negative. That's a good thing when you're bread and butter. You know what you're good at. You're good at sticking out the jab right there. You know you're good at ripping the left of the body. You know you have a club right hand. Nothing wrong with that, sticking on your bike and moving too. He's great at going first and third, and he builds in the fights here, which could be kind of contradictory to what you're going to see in the mix aspect of where his cardio is kind of a mix. In the 12-round fight versus Foster, he really started to slow down there, and the Galindo fight didn't necessarily look great, but I thought it looked really good against that Andreas Cortez fight, who, again, was weight drained in that fight. Negatives. He can also have his backs held against the rope, a la Raymond Ford. Sloppy feet as the later fight goes along. He is susceptible to the body punch, the inside uppercut, and the changeup. Fighting from range is something that he should be great at with his length, but not something he isn't great at. So that could be in the mix aspect as well. His cardio is a red flag for me. And again, he's taking this fight on short notice with age. Keys to victory for this fight, quite frankly. I think Abraham Nova has to blitz. I think Abraham Nova has to come out early. I think he has to club Raymond Ford with the right hands, with the body shots. And I don't think he needs to pace himself over 12 rounds here. Because if it comes for a 12-round pace and cardio kind of fight, I think Raymond Ford wins this fight 9 out of 10 times. Raymond Ford can edge just about now at 130 without the horrible weight cut to 126. I think his cardio looks fantastic. And Raymond Ford, even when he was cutting to 126, is someone that shows gears and levels as the fight later goes on. Raymond Ford has a really good body punch too as well, which I think is going to slow down Nova early. So I think Nova needs to get in his ass early, hopefully bank for an early knockdown and maybe an early knockout. But how I see this fight going is I see Raymond Ford boxing his way to a decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if Raymond Ford could get him out of there in the later rounds, man. Raymond Ford has a sneaky arsenal that's underutilized. And if he gets those uppercuts going on the inside that Nova has a susceptibility to, if he rips up the body in combination, which he loves to do, which Nova also has a susceptibility to, I think you get him out of there rounds 9 through 12. My official prediction is Raymond Ford by decision. Will I be sprinkling Raymond Ford's rounds 9 through 12? You already know it. It's another Breaking Bad boxing prediction for y'all. Much love.